Hey, what's up guys, Demon Driver here. Thank you for joining me once again. And in this video, I'm going to start painting the liveries onto all three of my new handmade scratch-built 737s. We got here Siam Air Transport 737-300. I've already got her purple overall paint on her, and she's going to look like this when she's done. Then I got my classic Norwegian 737 MAX 7. She got the classic red nose. She's going to look like this when she's done. And last but not least, I got my 737-200 of All Nippon Airways, the old 1970s Mohican paint scheme with the blue stripe. We're going to paint the blue stripe on in this video. So stick around. You're going to love this video, and I hope you enjoy it. And let's get to work here. You're going to make dust or paint dust, you want to put a mask on. So let's go ahead and slowly pull this stuff away. Very carefully, very slowly. Now a darker purple is going to go beneath on the belly here. There's going to be a dark purple that's going to kind of ride up. So look at that photo, you know what I'm talking about. So that purple, I got to put the purple in. So I'm going to get this painter's tape off. It's coming off real good. And right here is my ANA 737-200. It's got her white gloss paint on it. 2 layers, 2 coats. Removable flight deck. Now this is going to have, the first thing, what I'm going to paint with you guys here today is I'm going to put the Mohican, the classic ANA 1970s, early 80s Mohican stripe on her top portion of her fuselage, and then probably next week when I start finishing up the paint scheme on the fuse, I'll put her blue ribbon down the side. I'll start to chrome out her belly, and then add the All Nippon Airways in kanji on the fuselage. Put the roundel, ANA roundel, back on the tail once that's painted blue. So first step today, first thing we're going to do is add the Mohican blue iconic pinstripe on the ANA 737-200. That's what we're going to do right now. Okay, come on. One of the things I'm doing is I'm now penciling in the where the actual Mohican pinstripe is going to be, and I've got it all marked out on the fuselage. I use flat edge rulers like that, and then I draw a line as to where I'm going to put the painter's tape. Now instead of using monocoat or Hanger 9 Ultra Coat, I'm going to use just paint for this. I'm going to use painter's tape, and the advantage is I'm going to get a really crisp, solid color, solid Mohican stripe, as opposed to using an iron and putting it on, which is tedious, takes a lot of time. There are advantages to it. It's a little bit more resilient, it's easier to repair, but on the flip side, you got to get it really on there. It tends to bubble. You can use solvents. They make solvents for all those covering films. The problem is once you do that, it's almost impossible to get it back off again if you got to repair it. So I'm just freehanding with a pencil the line from here to here, and this is just kind of give me a general idea of where I need to go with it. I need to kind of link these two up, because from here to here the Mohican stripe kind of comes down to a kind of comes in, kind of channels in right there, comes to a point, so I have to get all that right. All right, so I got that on. Special painter's tape. Now, it's important and imperative to make sure that this is all lined up, but I get my painter's tape that is specifically designed for going around curves. So I go ahead and pull some of this out. Now, one of the tricks about curve tape is you lay it down, and as you curve, this hand becomes the curving, is what guides the curve, and your thumb is how you make the curve. It's like a winding snake. So I lay this down like so, and I try to get it outside the pencil mark, so when I paint, the pencil mark will be covered up by the paint. But what I do is I'm just gently lay it out and make sure I get that curve. And if you don't get the curve you want, just pull it back off. But be careful, because if you do it too many times, you can actually... And we meet it up right there. Alright, so I'll examine that, and right there it kind of goes off the rails, so I gotta get this right, folks. This is for all the money. It's for all the marbles. Alright, there we go. So what I do is I'm examining that and checking it to make sure it's right. And I come in and I cut that right there. Now I'm going to use regular painter's tape to close off the rest of the plane. I'm going to use regular painter's tape for that. So I'll do the same thing on this side. Make sure that it comes to an apex right there. Right there. Yeah. And I'll look at that and examine it and make sure that it's okay. We got the painter's tape and the saran masking all across our 737-200 of All Nippon Airways, and we have taped off the top portion, and that is going to be our Mohican paint stripe, our blue stripe. Alright, so let's get ready to paint. But before I do that, I just make a visual check with my finger and my eyes, and I run it along the edge of the painter's tape to make sure that there's no areas where it's popping up, like right there. So you take your fingernail or something and you just make sure that it's flat down against the surface. Make sure it's flat against the surface, because if not, what will happen is as you paint, the paint will bleed and leak, and then you're going to have to clean that up. So you're going to have to then get out white paint, and then it becomes Rust-Oleum gloss protective enamel. This is great paint. This is sail blue. It matches the ANA blue perfectly. So you shake it up nice and good. Keep it there even. There we are. Shake it up nice and good. Alright. Making a little test shot down here on this piece of plastic that covers the foam here. Alright, looks pretty good. Alright, here we go. I'll start in from the tail and I'll bring all the way up. Always keep your hand moving.
went on perfectly. And one coat for now is perfect. I'll let that set and I'll examine it. I'll take a look at it and I'll see if it needs another coat or something like that. Usually a second coat is usually warranted. That's good. So I'm going to get this out of here, put this in a dry, clean environment. It's good to paint outside if, you know, you don't have a painter booth. Never paint indoors. Don't ever paint inside your house. Paint outdoors or in a painting booth that's well ventilated. Out here in my backyard, it's perfect. I'm happy with that.
See, here's the removable nose section right here. See, it fits on. See, here's the removable nose section. Hasn't been painted yet, obviously, but it fits on like that. And that, I can put FPV cameras in there, fly-by camera. I can put, you know, flight crew in there. I'm going to put a whole flight deck with instruments, yoke, everything. I might even put some seats and stuff inside the fuselage. But see, it's just removed like that. That'll be held on by a couple screws when she's done. But I like the Norwegian paint scheme because it's really easy to see in the air. You know that that's the front. You can see everything. It's a big. You want to, you know, a little bit of advice when you're choosing a livery for an RC airliner. Choose something that's kind of visible in the air, because that way you're going to have a better chance of seeing it while it's flying, as opposed to, let's say, an all chrome paint scheme or something like that, that sometimes can disappear in the air. All right, let's get painting. Time to start painting. I'm using Rust-Oleum Gloss Protective Enamel Red. It's actually gloss cherry. Really nice bright red to put on there. So let's get painting. Got my respirator on, gloves on. Let's get to work here. Make sure the tape is gone and around on all sides. Make sure that the surface is clean. All right, here we go. Keep the can about 10-12 inches away, and as I do it, I'm always spraying and I'm always moving in a smooth motion. So that way, if you hold the spray paint in one place, you're going to get an uneven buildup. So you just want to keep moving. I'm not painting anymore, so I don't need this on. You got to give it some time to let the paint disperse into the air. But keep the paint moving. You know, keep a good distance so that you don't get blotches and you don't get running. That's a real trick. You know, when you're painting a curved surface, running and runs and dripping is a real problem, and it's easy to screw that up. I mean, I've been hand painting RC airplanes for probably since I was a kid, a long time. And it's taken years and years and years and years and years to properly do it, where you don't get runs and things like that and stuff like that, unless you're a professional painter. Unless you paint 24/7 and that's what you do for a living. But you know, a good enamel paint and you know, a respirator, your plane, and you can get a good result. So I'm gonna check this and keep an eye on it, but I'm gonna put this in a booth. I'm gonna put this plane in a dust-free environment to let it set, let the paint set, and I'll keep coming back to it. And if I need to, I'll add another coat, but it looks pretty good. We got our classic red Norwegian nose, Norwegian commuter, yeah. I like it. I call it the cod, or the salmon, or the cod paint scheme. It looks like a fish, you know, with the red nose, like a herring or something, like a Norway. You know, when they hang the cod out behind the house, kind of looks like. I think maybe that's what they were going for when they created that livery. Well, here are all three of the my new scratch-built 737s together. Got the Norwegian 737 MAX 7, ANA 737-200, all Nippon Airways, old Mohican, and then we've got the Siam Air Transport 737-300. And they're all coming along, piece by piece, bit by bit, step by step. All coming along good. Well, as always, guys, Demon Driver here. I enjoy your company. I'm grateful for your company. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching my video and watching me work on my planes. And I'm always honored for your time and for your comments and all that good stuff. Thank you very much. God bless, and have a good weekend.